All right. welcome, everybody to Dynasty the Show, Dynasty the Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. Today is a very special show. It's called Entitled, and it's called Entitled Authority. Now, entitlement means you feel like you supposed to have something. You feel like know no matter what, you're supposed to get your way. That's what I pretty much look at it entirely. You can look up the dictionary, what it means for yourself. Authority means, we talk about authority all the time on this show. It means, ooh, I got a bone right there. It means basically about the same thing. It means that you already have the position of being in charge, or you're in charge of something. So, we are talking about high level stuff right now. We're talking about politics. We're talking about education. We're talking about even in the sports world is conference finals, and like all these people who are professional athletes are basically when they go out there and compete at the Olympics, they are basically soldiers, unarmed soldiers representing their country and trying to see who's the best and the purest athletes or the strongest in the world. So, all that stuff go hand in hand. Even in the girls' basketball, they're on the Olympic scale as well. So, I'm just giving y'all quick like a rundown of just being what it is, Now, today, I always start off by just telling y'all I'm so appreciative of everybody who gets the message and who listens to anything I say, or just not listen to by going and do actions, but getting information and making things better in the world, in the community. And I just want to say I'm thankful for anybody who pay attention to that. I try to put out a lot of information that is quality and that will be productive in the world. So I think I'm thank you for that. I just want people to for me, I just want to say I woke up on a pretty good far as pretty good. Like I said, it's spiritual attack, it's spiritual warfare going on consistently. When you get older, the older you get, the more in tune you get with the world. It's consistent, so you just got to be able to warn stuff off that's not for you, and accept those things that are for you. That's just my message to that. A lot of jealousy and hate comes when you start speaking up and telling the truth, and speaking the truth. So it all comes with all that. So I woke up pretty in a good mood. I made a big dinner last night, late dinner. I had went and watched the game. This is before this. I'm just gonna give it to you. Just have a positive mindset. Wake up with a positive mindset. I'm not gonna talk too much sports. There was I didn't get to watch the Sparks game. I tried to watch it. I don't know if they won or lost. It was blackout in the area I'm at. And then I watched the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. It was a great game. The Knicks had them all the way up until the last 5 minutes of the game. Then, I think his name, Aaron Naismith, came back 6, 7 threes in the last 4 minutes, brought the team back down double digits. Tyrese Halliburton came down, hit the last deep two, and forced the overtime. The guys end up coming out with the win. Indiana won on the road, so they have a big commending. That's a big thing when you take game one and on the road in the conference finals, which next step is the final. So shout out to Indiana Pacers. The Knicks got to get their fourth quarter issues situated, their defensive issues situated. It was 125 points at the end of regulation, so all that stuff go hand in hand. Both coaches are defensive minded, but like I said, the coach that came with it, to me, who has both sides of the court, offense and defense, is the Indiana Pacers coach. I'm very high on him as a coach. So, shout out to them. They did their thing. They star player came out through the clutch, and that's what it's about in playoff time. Now, on to the serious thing. This is the reason why I talk about this stuff is like you know I'm gonna just tell the story of how much African ties I actually have. Okay, my mother and father unfortunately did not get married, but they do have, you know, three children together, and me and my sisters are very close. And how I look at it is, I'm correction. Like my older sister, she has a different father. I don't want to, hate on nobody's father, but my dad did raise my older sister, and he raised me and my young sister. Our families, my sister was out, she was with us every step when we were younger. So, once we got older, my mom moved. She separated from my father when I was like 7 or 8. And about, I say about 9 or 10, my mom got married to somebody who's from Ghana in Africa. So, and they stayed together for at least 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, 8 years, whatever it was. They stayed together. They did get a divorce. In Africa, you're allowed to have he had children himself. So, in Africa, this guy is one of the most genuine, most respectful people I ever met. Steven, Taha, I'll just shout him out. He's very, this guy's a very powerful person. When he came to America, he worked. He got his children come over here, and he ended up getting what he got out of it was, he wanted to bring his kids to America so they can, be more, have more freedom. It's a lot when you have such a big name and big, you're a very big force in Africa. You have a lot of dependents, and it's not a bad thing. It's just you want your children to have a little bit more freedom. So I understand that just observing. When my mom and him separated, he was always still genuinely nice. He got open door policy for me and my sisters. He took care of us when he was married to my mother. We went to church. My mom changed her eating habits. She learned a lot about, not a, when you're African, you still have to reserve some of the stuff, your knowledge, and you have to go visit that country. So my mom didn't go visit, so I don't think he gave her every information, but we did improve on a lot of stuff, and I did learn a lot just observing and having the I would say like being disciplined. I seen that discipline side. This man had a routine every day, and like I said, no disrespect. And this man also was a soldier in his country, and he has very high ranking stripes in his country. And I respect him because he did not brag or boast. And when you over there was in the 80s and the 70s, probably when he had to do what he had to do to just protect himself from other people, other small countries in Africa, because Ghana is pretty big. So they wasn't the weak. They wasn't considered weak ever. They have really big country. But I'm not promoting these things. I also have grandfathers who were in the service. I have family members that do service, or sheriffs and police officers. And there's no disrespect to them, but I got a lot. I got it on both from the UN or the rural area, and also just me being taught by my family and relatives. And I always had that strength for me. So I don't, I just want to give him his flowers. I have not spoken with him in a long time, but it's no disrespect. We all get older. He has a ton of older sons, and only got to meet one of his younger sons when he came over, and and he has daughters as well. So hopefully they are doing great, or they're in situations where they could elevate themselves, and they still over here. I don't know for sure. Like I know they gotta. If they find me in Florida, I'm always willing to. That man helped my mom a lot. So like I said, before they was married, the police were harassing my mom, far as just making her, doing so much to her with three children and being single. She had to pay so many. They were basically trying to tax my mom and make it hard for her to work, and she couldn't save and provide correctly. She had a pretty good job, but they wanted to make her be on, make her be, basically ask the government for help and be some kind of, but that's not how my mom was a hardworking person. I'm happy she picked that person to marry. She only married one time, and both of the, like I said, strength. When you got two strong people, it only creates, it creates more. So shout out to him. His sons. Hopefully I could get in touch with them and figure out, how I could stay in touch, especially the younger one. When he came over, he was so young, so I couldn't like let me hang with you. I was like, I'm gonna be like working and coaching. I wasn't able to stay home, and that time I had real like plans of just continue and coach it. And now I have the time, so hopefully I can reach out and get some real info on how he's doing. And that's why I'm just was breaking down my African ties is not fake. My African ties is very real as it could get in the biggest world. So, and also we all African descendant. My mom is, me and my sisters, we all got ties. And I just I don't poo-poo those things. I'm not saying I'm going against my grandfathers, because they, like I said, they gotta they protected America. So it is, I'm good on both ends, but I also know what comes with jealousy and hate. So, hopefully, and these people are some of the most respected people in their lanes. My grandfather and my stepfather. And so I this is no, hey, I'm good when it comes to, elders, and one of my biggest, I'll call him my mentor. Like, we all older, I can't, bring that word around, because we all have developed. And when I moved to South Florida, he helped me, especially, when I became a teenager, just put me in position to be something, even though it might have not been as genuine as my grandfather and it became that when I got older. So, it developed. So, like, I always speak on these. I try not to speak on everybody's name, but I do have to shout him out, because that's what my real ties are. So, this is known, this is documented. Leave him alone, America and Florida, whatever y'all got going on. Get your mind right. So, I went and it just like I could honestly say, like, being provided and having that, showing that discipline and all that, it was always a value to me. So yeah, I'm still got that value, and I don't, in the way of America. So I don't want to mess up something that I've been speaking on. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's move on. We're gonna break down this interview with South Africa's president and our United States American president. And I'm gonna play 5 clips, and then I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna play a clip, break it down, play a clip, break it down. Hopefully, I don't spend too long, going on about how somebody feels so entitled when they don't understand. If you go to Africa, you got to go in that sun, and you got to go out there and plant. You can't just put a building up there and say this is our land. No, it's not. This is completely different from America. You coming over here, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm gonna just put it. I'm not going. He said it several times. The United States of America said it several times, and I don't like that he don't understand the history behind how Americans went over there. Europeans and American and people from, with white faces went over there and poisoned these lands, burned down trees, burned down fields. This is documented. Just because these people have rich minerals and they couldn't, they want to start war and division, and they come over here with they can't do the missionary 1-2 step, and they feeding these people canned foods, and they got big old lands and fields and food, and they went over there poisoning their fields. So the thing he kept saying that really agitated me, that could come back in this 2025, is how's your water? How, being disrespectful, being ignorant is not the way we gonna get things done. These people are nothing. These people, you watch from afar, that field looks so beautiful and rich in South Africa. You cannot, just from what they showing you, and you got to actually go visit, because you still got to do the work. You still got to worry about the snakes in the grass, literally. Like, you got to do your work. You got to worry about real lions, and I don't know how much they have depleted in South Africa, but I used to watch National Geographic. I used to watch. I'm talking about the on the 500 channels. Like, I'm watching this every day, daily. Animal Planet. Me and my cousin lit this. We was in a group sitting there watching it. Like, we like, oh, one day we're gonna have to go visit. And we always had that instinct of what animals do from the motherland to like how it plays out in here. We never was we tapped in a lot when it came to getting information and getting knowledge on. And this is just stuff that the United States of America showed us. So I just want to, all right, I'm probably talking too much about, personal. So I'm going to get right into it. And let's go right into the first clip. And this is kind of mixed up. The first clip I want to play is, like I said, some of this stuff was very disruptive, some was out of bounds, but we're going to play them, and I'm going to just let y'all listen. Okay, now this is the issue with me. This man literally told him why he's in South Africa. Like that makes no sense to what his response was. His whole mindset is why is he in South Africa? Because they want to help. They want to bring aid. They want to stop and be peaceful. They don't want nobody getting died, 5,000 people to die in every week. That's why he's in South Africa. And he calls, we called Putin on the phone. We spoke for 2.5 hours. Putin don't like Trump. Putin got to deal with this man because this man done lied and connived and done hung around this man before he was a president. This is the only reason why he could call that man. Nobody want to talk with this man for real. This is the most dumb. This is the dumbest. I can't like. This is an embarrassment. I'm over in America and we got one of the biggest embarrassments sitting here speaking for us. And I'm confused about why he don't get that. He has a lot of rank and a lot of resources that he's asking for. Now, my own suggestion is the only resources y'all can go over there and do, don't ask about no fields. Y'all need to give up your authority and rank in all these buildings y'all done built over there. All y'all need to do is drive around, make sure y'all not poisoning fields and not hating on the people that is black. And y'all not stop crying about y'all having such little people. This man done told it 2 golfers up here talk about bring these 2 golfers. These 2 golfers was on the president's side. They from South Africa. One of them bought another guy that looked like he not even from out South Africa. They over here trying to be on President Trump's side, but they see how ignorant this man talk. By the end of this conference, by the end of this meeting, nobody wanted to hear what this man had to say. Then he told this whole clip out of somebody saying something about the farmers. Okay, if you are not from there and you went there to build and you had opportunity and you as a white person went over there and you build and you made things, don't feel entitled because it's not you're not from that motherland. You're not there. Your roots are not there. You can go back to wherever you're from and have wherever money be an immigrant and still have money. This is documented things that you could do when you leave these places. I do not understand why these people feel that entitled. I don't understand why he's talking about all this murder, kill, all these. He's bringing up everybody else in the world about them having problems. Africa, South Africa have been one of the most warred areas in the world. This man, the division and to divide and conquer did not work in South Africa. The president, I'm gonna say his name, Cyril Ramaphosa. He did a good job of telling this man. It's only been 30 years since they like released Nelson Mandela or whatever it was. It was not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? So he broke down. He said what happened when Nelson Mandela was freed was we tried to be peaceful. We tried to build bridges to make sure we don't go back into that war type of energy. And when you have people crying, saying it's genocide because a couple hundred people cannot survive in the sun, did not have enough money to go out there and build on the field, they want to get mad and cry to all the American families where they could just come back, get you a ticket and leave. You don't have enough money. You're not a billionaire to build a building to stay over there once a month like these 2 other billionaires or millionaires or the whatever club, white supremacist club they in, because they're white and they from South Africa, and that it is what it is, or they've been there that long. So, you know, they was probably the people when Nelson Mandela was free, was over there toting them around like, hey, we freed Nelson Mandela. You know what I'm saying? They've been there for that long, or they've been trying to. It's okay to have that type of help, but you cannot feel entitled still. The motherland, the melanated people are in Africa, and that's what it is. It's always going to be a majority, and we all going to outnumber. The information I gave you yesterday still states that the people in South Africa still have way more money than the people who are from that land. And it's not about the land, it's about them getting in the way, trying to pollute these people water, trying to pollute these people fields. That's the main thing. And then the president came on this screen, and I'm gonna let you play some more clips. He literally stated to these people, you guys need to help us in this way. We need help with this and this. He's like, yeah, but this, but yeah, like crying and whining. Nobody want to hear you cry and whine. You stay in America. You stay in a nice big old built mansion every day. You got multiple mansions to live in. Nobody want to hear you crying and whining. Y'all killed and murdered to get here. Stop telling people about what's going on in the world about somebody dying. Y'all done got this position in the world by killing people, by raping little children. That's what y'all did. So stop acting like that's not what the history books say that y'all read to us in college, in high school. That's what America was built on. Why are you crying about it? Go out there and help. Go out there and create peace. Go out there and change the world. Stop going out there signing $137 billion deals and wherever he just went for war chest. We don't want to hear nothing about you crying about that. That's it. Let's move on to the next clip. Okay, that is the most contradicting statement I've ever heard. I'm watching the screen of the pause screen, and the president's like, "What is this man talking about?" That's all I see in his face. You can't say something is great and brave, and they still getting their heads chopped off, and they still murder. Now let's move on. Okay, they started off us saying Asia, Haitians, all different races of why, and he said MSNBC, which is the American station that he has to get make peace, and this man is trying to divide inside America, and he's sitting up here trying to diss Africa. He didn't even say South Africa. He just dissed the whole African country in front of South African president, who literally said, "Thank you, sir. You gave us respiratory, whatever respirator. You built them. We wrote you a nice, very great letter. It touched our spirit. We are appreciative of you. Thank you, sir." He's sitting here saying the complete opposite. He's sitting here on defense, and they are showing the most gratitude when it comes to speaking to this man. And he's sitting here talking down on a reporter that's in America, that is American, and he said something completely different from what he asked. He literally poo-pooed the question because the question was he said it was fake news, which was completely not fake news because it's reports that they stopped. Literally, they said they not helping, or they don't have no protection over Haitians and this in this country and this in this country. You get what I'm saying? So he literally moved that out the way because they start whatever deal they made with those countries, they randomly just stopped after they already got help from these people. So that is what it's a big uproar in America already off this silently, but it is what it is. That's what happened with the spiritual warfare that started basically for the last after COVID. Basically, when they didn't get what they wanted in COVID, those same people that didn't get paid for whatever dirty job they did or whatever they thought they had to do to stay in this country, they feel some type of way. So I'm not with none of that spiritual warfare. I'm not with what happened during COVID with the cleansing or whatever they thought they was doing. I'm not with none of that. So I'm here to protect mine. I'm here to make sure y'all stop the disrespect on my family, and I'm here to inform people on what is really being going on, how really people think of people that are black and African descendant and brown African descendant people. That's simply what it is. So we're gonna move on. I really like this man has shown you cannot disrespect the motherland in 2025. You have to figure out a way to get over the hump that you are not on the strongest stem. Your energy stealing and energy your energy source comes from the motherland. You see every day they still digging up minerals and high quality stuff over there as we speak, and it's getting better. I like that fact that they are working. I don't hear too much. It's so many much more people over there, and it was so much corruption and division that they still have to continue to remind each other over in Africa that it's not about this technology they trying to sell, this technology they trying to control everybody with. You still have to touch bases, be grounded, and remember what was the most important, which is family, which is peace, which is health and wealth. Like that's what it really comes down to. Make sure these people not coming over polluting these lands. That because if they get polluted, then everybody else will be polluted. That's just simply what it is. So we're gonna play one more clip. I don't want to be here too long talking about this. I really like. I'm gonna let this lady speak. I like what she was saying. He bought somebody that is over workforce in South Africa. I'm gonna let y'all hear what she had to say. I like that he brought her over because it was towards the end of the meeting. So we're gonna I'm gonna let y'all hear what she was saying, and we're gonna end it on that. And I'm glad it was a woman because you always need a woman's touch to bring back down what really is going on in South Africa. So she's gonna break that down, what is really the issue for them, and she asked for help like the president did. So we're gonna end it on that. Okay, now this is where I'm happy that they came very honest, very open. The reason why there's still Africans doing what they do far as guerrilla warfare tactics is because the way that this guy literally feels entitled to land, to resources, to what she spoke on in the beginning, what she tried to say is if y'all come over with the mindset to surveillance, to put borders up and make sure everybody's separated properly. Help us with authority the proper way. Don't come over here for a money grab. Don't come over here for a resource grab. Come over here as partners, as the president said so many times in this meeting. This guy sitting up here deflecting what he asked for. He's sitting up here putting him on the back burner like we still not the most melanated and most powerful people in the world. This is the problem. So when they come over here saying, oh, this guy's murdering and blah, 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 it's because you keep coming over here trying to divide. You keep sticking these fat, old, lazy white people in these buildings, just watching it from afar, just to collect resources. We don't need you to collect resources. You have enough. You have one United States. You have all these people spaced out. You have all these soldiers spaced out. You have divided so many countries. Can you please stop? In the motherlands, come over here and help properly so you can change the world. Maybe they will be spaced out. These guerrilla warfare units will go out here and properly douse some of these wars that y'all need instead of coming over here going against mothers and grandmothers, which is still cursing African descendant people. So y'all need to stop too. That's a message. Now let's continue. I'm still aggravated because I don't like the fact that these people are out here deflecting what really needs to be changed. And the reason why we can't help is because y'all won't give African descendant people and native descendant people their resources properly. You want people to get spent, Bert. You want people to get stuff by little. You want to defame high level people like me and other people that have got defamed. You want us to go out here and tap dance. You want to go out here and shoot basketballs and you cheer and throw popcorn and soda at us and throw beer at us. All this stupid stuff that y'all want us to do. It's going to be changed in the next generation, so we don't care. Now let's move on. I appreciate everybody listening to Dynasty in the podcast. I'm your host, Ira Bush. That's it. And then we're going to let it go.